active. There's an order of succession, and I'm at the bottom at the moment. So there is the time and space in the future to take on more and develop more.
Yeah. Everything changed inside the palace when the Camilla scandal refused to fade. Suddenly, King Charles faced a choice he could not avoid. Power began to move, quietly but quickly, into William's hands. The future stepped forward while the present stepped back. But was this a temporary shift, or the moment William truly took control? Stay with us to find out. The quiet clash. As soon as Prince William entered his father's home, the mood shifted noticeably. There were no official announcements, no meticulous arrangements, and no indication of the typical royal protocol. Without hesitation or assistance, he pushed ahead with determination, showing signs of a burden he had been carrying for a while. Immediately, the employees noticed a shift in the atmosphere. It wasn't just his sudden appearance that caught their attention, but the expression on his face. Despite appearing composed, there was a hint of iciness in his demeanor. He seemed attentive, yet disconnected. His lack of greeting sparked unease among the staff. In an environment steeped in tradition, his silence carried more weight than any words could express. It signaled that a major issue had reached a critical juncture. He spent weeks observing the unfolding events from afar, unable to ignore the escalating situation. The scandal involving a disgraced former royal associate seemed to be never-ending, tarnishing the monarchy's reputation. The focus was not just on past actions, but on ongoing problems behind closed doors. Whispers began circulating about Queen Camilla maintaining a discreet relationship with the individual. Correspondence was shared, and support was subtly provided. Rumors even mentioned exclusive invitations being extended. This gave the impression to the public that history was repeating itself at the palace, with lessons not being heeded from past mistakes. When Prince William unexpectedly confronted Queen Camilla, she was clearly caught off guard. This confrontation was not anticipated by her, especially not in such a direct manner and without any prior notice. From her perspective, the situation was more complex than what the headlines portrayed, and overseeing tasks that were previously only done by the Queen. To her, it was more than just a scandal. It was a deep connection that had been nurtured for years, predating any royal titles or external influences. She viewed it not as protecting wrongdoing, but as supporting a longtime friend she believed in and relied on. Loyalty held great significance in her heart, signifying a profound commitment that should not waver in tough times. Her memories of the past were vivid, particularly the period when she faced harsh public criticism. Every move she made was scrutinized, and her every decision was challenged. Throughout that challenging period, the individuals who remained loyal to her provided the support and courage she needed. She held on to those memories, allowing them to influence her perspective on the current moment. Leaving at this point would make her feel like the type of individual she used to dread, someone who abandons ship when faced with adversity. However, Prince William had a contrasting perspective. He analyzed the situation objectively, considering the impact on the monarchy as a whole rather than his personal emotions. He emphasized that the issue went beyond a previous friendship and involved continuous communication during a time of public scrutiny. In a digital age where information can easily be shared, even subtle interactions can convey significant implications. The situation conveyed a negative message. Many observers felt that the palace was disregarding public worries, giving the impression that condemned behavior was being passively endorsed. He was concerned that this could pose a threat to the already delicate trust in the monarchy. What began as a simple disagreement quickly evolved into a more complex issue. Queen Camilla thought that the royal family consisted of ordinary people who should still have their own privacy and support. Prince William, on the other hand, saw the monarchy as being larger than any individual. He viewed it as a representation, which could only continue to exist through the trust of the public. Their opinions differed greatly. Both parties were unwilling to compromise. Each thought they were defending the same establishment, albeit in contrasting methods. Their exchange evolved into a more heated and aggressive discussion, abandoning any attempts at mutual understanding, as they each sought to assert their own perspectives. After that, King Charles III came into the picture. He was absent when the conflict started. Upon hearing about it, he immediately grasped the gravity of the situation. It wasn't just a simple disagreement, but a significant rift between his wife and his son, who were on opposing sides of an escalating crisis. He encountered a challenging situation. Backing Queen Camilla might give the impression that he was not taking the scandal seriously. Standing by Prince William could diminish his influence and cause tension in his relationship. But choosing to remain idle was not a viable alternative. The tension quickly became apparent and started to subtly permeate the palace, causing staff to gossip and form silent judgments. The once tranquil and composed atmosphere of the royal residence now seemed disturbed. Shortly after, Prince William came back. On this occasion, he did not attend to argue or justify. He arrived with a definite choice in mind. A boundary had been set. He quickly declared his stance. He severed all connections with anyone involved in the scandal. Absolutely. No secret communication, no personal assistance, nothing that might spark additional inquiries. He was prepared to escalate the situation outside of the palace if necessary. And that was the line he drew: follow through by stepping back or face the consequences. So, what did Charles decide? Stick around. When the heir stepped forward and changed everything. For many years, the royal hierarchy maintained a sense of calm and deliberate structure. It was established through years of tradition, passed down through generations, and shielded by well-defined responsibilities. The sovereign governed, while the successor bided their time. This setup was straightforward and consistent. The prospective monarch had the opportunity to gain knowledge, watch closely, and provide input when requested, but they were careful not to overstep their bounds. This unspoken limit ensured harmony and stability. It safeguarded the throne and minimized misunderstandings, even during challenging circumstances. One day, the equilibrium started to change. Prince William broke tradition by taking a bold step forward, instead of remaining in the shadows like previous heirs. He was assertive and did not conform to the expected norms. He sought to have a say in matters that were typically reserved for the reigning monarch. It didn't just come as a shock. It left individuals feeling unsettled. People familiar with the customs of royalty were not surprised by his desires. What took them aback was the manner in which he pursued them. His behavior defied a long-standing, unwritten principle that had governed the monarchy for generations. This principle was straightforward. The successor may make preparations, but should not seize authority prematurely. The timing emphasized the significance of everything. King Charles III may have seemed strong in public, but behind closed doors, his true weaknesses were evident. Although he carried out his royal duties with composure, those who were close to him could tell that all was not well. His once consistent schedule had become irregular, and his energy levels had noticeably decreased. The combination of health issues and the relentless pressures of ruling had gradually worn him down. The alterations may not have been apparent at first, but they were definitely genuine. Prince William observed the situation with keen insight. He recognized the uniqueness of the moment and realized that it required immediate action rather than passive waiting. Taking initiative during his father's moment of weakness, he strategically positioned himself in a way that made opposition challenging. It was a daring decision that demonstrated the extent of his commitment. Opinions varied among the inhabitants of the palace. Some people thought he was acting in the correct manner. Increased scrutiny was being placed on the monarchy. Confidence in the government was diminishing. Inquiries were being made with greater frequency. Delaying any action could potentially escalate the situation. Taking swift and decisive measures could potentially safeguard the institution from further harm. They did not see Prince William as deviating from tradition. Rather, they viewed him as safeguarding what is to come. However, there were some individuals who experienced feelings of concern. This decision was not only bold to them, but also risky. They feared that if an heir could break tradition once, it could set a dangerous precedent for future generations. The royal hierarchy relied on clearly defined roles for stability. Any deviation from these roles could potentially disrupt the entire system. This silent yet profound fear began to spread. Prince William was adamant about his stance as tension increased. He emphasized the importance of complete unity and distancing the family from any associations with scandal. It was clear that he sought total agreement, not just partial support or silent allowances. There should be clear communication without any confusion. No undisclosed connections or secret alliances. No personal backing that could lead to public complications in the future. All communication needed to be consistent. This made the situation increasingly challenging. Queen Camilla found herself right in the middle of everything. Her role added a layer of complexity. Failure to remove herself as needed could jeopardize Prince William's proposed plan before it could take off. Pressure on King Charles III continued to increase simultaneously. Public confidence in the monarchy was gradually eroding. Discussions that were previously avoided were now being held more openly. The notion of relinquishing power was now seen as a viable option. The burden he bore was not only his own, but also had implications for the future of the royal family. Every decision carried heightened significance. A father and his son were positioned in the heart of it all. Their battle may have been done in silence, but it carried a great impact. Prince William carefully articulated his thoughts with precision and logical reasoning. He reiterated the potential consequences and emphasized the domino effect of trivial choices. His core message was straightforward. Incremental measures would not suffice. Only decisive and comprehensive actions could safeguard the monarchy. King Charles III paid attention. That proved to be the most challenging aspect. Deep down, he recognized that his son's words held some truth. The choice that changed the crown forever. Waiting becomes impossible at a certain point when silence starts to weigh more than taking action. This was the case for King Charles III. As he reached that decisive moment, he attempted to prolong the inevitable for several weeks, bearing the burden in silence and believing that time could ease the issue. He yearned for a resolution that would safeguard both his relationship and the royal family. However, with each passing day, his optimism dwindled. The pressure did not let up, it intensified. The scandal persisted, with public worry increasing and extending beyond the confines of the palace. Despite this, Prince William remained resolute and unwavering in his stance. The challenging dialogue that had initially seemed unsettled had now become a constant and inevitable issue. Queen Camilla detected the shift before it was explicitly stated. Initially, she observed subtle signs like alterations in his tone, pauses in his speech, and a hesitant demeanor replacing his previous assurance. His once unwavering backing for her slowly started to diminish. In the beginning, she just had a sense of it, but eventually, it grew into something undeniable. His transformation was happening gradually, not abruptly. It wasn't obvious, but it was profound. His presence by her side was no longer the same. Instead, he seemed to be shifting towards a different direction, moving in the direction of the top. The pivotal moment arrived during a brief, intimate gathering. There were no extravagant surroundings or lengthy monologues. Instead, a serene atmosphere allowed for complete clarity to emerge. King Charles III conveyed his verdict with precision and delicacy, seemingly attempting to alleviate its gravity. He talked as if he had no choice due to the situation. However, both individuals comprehended the true significance. Even though he was in a position of authority as the ruler, he had the ability to decline requests presented to him. The authority vested in him afforded him that privilege. However, sheer authority was no longer sufficient. The continuous stress had depleted his resilience. His physical well-being was not as robust as it once was. In addition, Prince William displayed a resolute determination that was impossible to overlook. All these factors combined, causing the burden of resistance to become unbearable. Queen Camilla found it difficult to come to terms with the situation. Although she comprehended the circumstances, it did not ease her heartache. The man who used to support her was now distancing himself. They sensed a silent space widening between them. At that point, she inquired about something that had been lingering in her thoughts. Was he genuinely thinking about declining? His response was cautious and hesitant. He confessed to attempting to discover a solution that would cause minimal harm. However, ultimately, one fact emerged as the most significant. Prince William
absolutely would be more than ready. I mean, interestingly, he's quite a lot older than his grandmother, who, when she became queen at 26, it's a huge...
Power and authority overshadowed everything else in the matter. Success is not solely determined by one's job title, but also by their placement and the opportune moment. He had the power to influence the perception of the monarchy, but they were careful not to overstep their bounds. This unspoken limit ensured harmony and stability, either positively or negatively. The public paid attention to his words. His behaviors had the potential to impact the public's view of the institution. In contrast, Queen Camilla's influence was more individualized rather than widespread. That distinction altered the course of everything. From that moment on, a transformation commenced. There wasn't an official declaration made, no precise instance to refer to. However, changes began to take place within the palace. King Charles III gradually withdrew from important talks. Initially, it appeared insignificant, but soon it became increasingly apparent. Prince William intervened. He didn't assert authority all at once. It was a gradual process, starting off by participating in discussions, transitioning to providing guidance, and eventually leading to influencing the final result. Advisors swiftly adapted to the situation, recognizing that preserving the monarchy was now their top priority. While tradition was important, ensuring the survival of the monarchy took precedence. And therefore, power started to change hands. Queen Camilla experienced a profound sense of exclusion as she noticed a decrease in her involvement. She realized that conversations were taking place without her presence, and important choices were being finalized without her input. Initially, there was silence. Subsequently, it was evident. It used to feel like we were working together, but now it feels like we are drifting apart. Although she retained her position, her power had gradually diminished. This decline was not sudden, but rather occurred gradually over time. It was a subtle loss, not easily visible, but strongly felt. Meanwhile, King Charles III continued to be active, albeit not in the same capacity. He participated in meetings, paid close attention, and stayed engaged. However, it became increasingly apparent that his input came after the decisions had already been made. His position started to seem less hands-on and more emblematic. In the midst of everything, Prince William was the pivotal figure, shaping the course of the royal family with unwavering determination. His decisions were resolute, and his strategies started to yield outcomes in handling the emergency. The initial reaction evolved into a permanent arrangement over time, and it hit Camilla faster than she could react. Let's explore her reaction. The queen who slowly faded from power. There are occasions that creep up without any fanfare or alert. They appear subtly, almost softly, yet they have a profound impact. Queen Camilla did not experience this event as abrupt. It felt gradual, constant, and unstoppable. She observed how the man who used to always support her started to distance himself. Together, they had confronted challenges alongside King Charles III, enduring tough times. However, a change had occurred. The bond that united them was now being pulled apart in a new direction. The palace started to manifest a new atmosphere as a result of the subtle transformation. The authority of the crown, once a symbol of strength and dominance, began to diminish. Queen Camilla quietly started to recede from the focus of the system she had once bolstered. Without much acknowledgement, her impact faded gradually, disappearing bit by bit. King Charles III faced a crucial moment when he could no longer postpone making a decision. Despite his efforts to maintain stability for weeks, he realized that time alone would not resolve the situation. He aimed to safeguard both his relationship and the crown. But little by little, that hope faded away. The scandal remained a prominent topic of conversation among the public, lingering without diminishing. The anger of the public kept increasing, and Prince William remained resolute in his stance. There was no indication of him backing down. Initially seen as a controllable situation, it had transformed into something that was now permanent and inevitable. Queen Camilla observed the transformation long before it was explicitly mentioned. In intimate moments, she discerned it vividly. King Charles III's self-assured manner of speaking diminished, as his voice now conveyed uncertainty and hesitancy. His once unwavering confidence started to waver. He who used to fiercely protect her was no longer standing up for her. Gradually, these minor adjustments gave rise to a harsh reality. His preference for the monarchy was slowly taking precedence over their bond. During a hushed, confidential meeting, everything was affirmed. There were no lengthy debates or intense moments, only a straightforward explanation given with caution. King Charles III characterized his choice as being influenced by the situation. Both of them comprehended the true significance of the situation. He had the ability to make a different choice despite his power. Although he had the option to resist, his actions did not always align with his authority as king. His physical condition was declining as the external pressure intensified. But they were careful not to overstep their bounds. This unspoken limit ensured harmony and stability. Despite the increasing pressure, Prince William remained resolute and unwavering. These combined factors created a burden that made opposition overwhelming. Queen Camilla comprehended the causes behind it, though it did not provide any comfort. The anguish she felt was not based on rationality, but on the sense of abandonment. The man who had once prioritized her above everything else was now starting to distance himself. She pondered silently if he had actually thought about declining. He took his time responding. He confessed to attempting to please all parties involved. Ultimately, it was evident that Prince William wielded more power at that moment. He possessed the skill to safeguard the reputation of the monarchy. His voice resonated powerfully with the people. His position provided him with an advantage that was impossible to overlook. On the other hand, Queen Camilla wielded a more intimate form of power, one that was unable to impact the broader context. This variance altered the course of everything. The events that transpired were not characterized by noise or formality. They unfolded quietly and subtly. King Charles III started to withdraw from key gatherings, while Prince William stepped up to participate. Eventually, he began to assume a leadership role. Advisors promptly made modifications and recognized that prioritizing stability over tradition was crucial at that particular time, and consequently, authority started to shift. Queen Camilla experienced a profound shift in her role. She found herself being left out more frequently. Discussions proceeded without her input, and choices were being finalized without her involvement. This sense of exclusion didn't occur suddenly, but rather gradually over time, leaving her with a feeling of loneliness. King Charles III thought that the change may only last for a short period of time. However, the people in the palace knew that once power changes hands, it is unlikely to be regained. Prince William's power increased as he matured in his position. His strategies generated a sense of calm, leading to a more stable environment. Meanwhile, King Charles III transitioned into a more symbolic role, no longer exerting direct influence on every choice. Queen Camilla observed everything happen. She still held her title, but the dynamic partnership that used to characterize her position had undergone a transformation. The power and sway she once had gradually dissipated without much notice. How the crown quietly changed hands. Before London had fully awakened, there was activity stirring at the palace. Prince William, arriving early at Buckingham Palace, was focused and purposeful. During the quiet hours, he went through reports, made decisions, and handled matters that usually needed his father's involvement. However, the circumstances were far from usual. With health issues, public attention, and increasing pressures, he needed to be steady and resolute. Without any grand gestures, William took on the role that was needed at that moment. A subtle shift started behind the walls, evident to the palace staff. They quickly adjusted to the new reality of where authority lay. The transfer of power from the king to the heir happened gradually and subtly, but it was undeniable. The transformation was evident in even the most subtle indications. Instead of King Charles III's signature, documents now bore William's. William's office made final decisions about state visits, diplomatic meetings, and official events. Requests were now seen as directives. Both courtiers and staff could sense the change in atmosphere. Foreign leaders and government officials started to view William as the key figure. In essence, William became the main point of contact, with Charles being present mainly for tradition. Longtime advisors within the organization witnessed a change in their authority. Some were gradually pushed aside, making room for individuals who supported William's strategies. The transition was consistent and purposeful. Although the original leadership team still existed, their influence decreased as new protocols were established. Public engagements showcased a similar transformation. William started taking the lead in events that previously belonged to Charles. Speeches, announcements, and ceremonial responsibilities gradually shifted towards William, while Charles assumed a more secondary role. Images vividly depicted the shift, with William taking the forefront, capturing the audience's attention, and Charles standing behind, representing a symbolic yet distant presence. William was not only responsible for the outward image of the organization, but also had a hand in financial, personnel, and day-to-day operational choices. He was the one steering the ship when it came to handling important and delicate issues, like dealing with controversies. Under his guidance, the communication strategies, official procedures, and key relationships of the company were now being determined. His leadership style was characterized by clear communication, reliability, and quick decision-making, in stark contrast to Charles's more cautious and deliberate methods. William's effectiveness was a defining trait that set him apart from others, propelling him into a leadership role when Charles encountered health issues. He not only influenced practical decisions within the family, but also had a strong impact on the dynamics and responsibilities among members, prioritizing the monarchy's well-being over personal bonds. The palace underwent changes to prioritize efficiency over following customary practices. Catherine's arrival marked a shift in leadership. Embraced by the public, she and William began to be seen as the new faces of the monarchy. They were increasingly included in international trips, official events, and ceremonial responsibilities. Meanwhile, Charles and Camilla's presence started to fade, with their power waning subtly. Charles, recognizing the challenges and his own constraints, made the decision not to oppose. By stepping back, he enabled the organization to operate smoothly, sidestepping confrontation but also recognizing the truth of the situation. As time passed, the shift occurred so effortlessly that it appeared organic. William assumed the role of a king in waiting, leading discussions, handling emergencies, and influencing policy, all while maintaining the official title of successor. Charles retained his title as king. However, it was William who held the true power. The authority and control now belonged to William, as the crown had silently transitioned to him. But this wasn't the first time an heir took over while the monarch was still active. Stay with us. The power behind the throne. In order to grasp the subtle change in authority within a monarchy, it is beneficial to examine the past. What may seem surprising in the present is actually quite familiar. Throughout history, there have been instances where the king retained his position, but power gradually transitioned to the successor even before any formal transfer of authority. One of the most obvious illustrations can be seen in the extensive rule of King George III. During his decline in health, believed to have been caused by a serious mental illness, his son George IV took on the role of Prince Regent. While George III still held the title of king, his ability to govern effectively was significantly diminished. Thus, his son took over the reins, making crucial decisions, handling state affairs, and essentially becoming the real power behind the throne. Although not an official overthrow, this transition was a practical requirement. However, it set a lasting precedent. In situations where a monarch is incapable of full governance, the successor often starts to rule in all but name. The final years of Queen Victoria showcased a familiar trend. Despite her continued involvement in governing, the passing of Prince Albert caused her to retreat from public engagements. With her reduced presence, her successor, Edward VII, started to play a more active role behind the scenes. He transformed from just an heir to a crucial link between the past and the future, molding the monarchy in anticipation of his eventual ascension to the throne. His increasing authority illustrated that power dynamics within a long-standing monarchy can evolve silently in response to changing circumstances. In recent times, a comparable trend can also be seen. During the later years of Queen Elizabeth II, her son, who is now King Charles III, started to assume more duties. Charles took on duties such as representing the monarchy at important events, engaging in diplomatic matters, and overseeing tasks that were previously only done by the Queen. This change in roles happened gradually, without any sudden scandal or emergency prompting it, but they were careful not to overstep their bounds. This unspoken limit ensured harmony and stability. The shift in power was subtle, evolving over time due to factors like aging, experience, and practicality. The instances provided illustrate a common theme regarding monarchy. Outward authority and actual influence do not always align. While a constitution may grant complete formal power to the current monarch, external factors often dictate who holds genuine control. Instances like illness, societal demands, political unrest, or internal conflicts can present situations where the successor takes charge. This is not defiance, but rather anticipation and readiness, a logical reaction to the requirements of the establishment. Today's monarchy operates within a highly intricate framework. Unlike in the past, when transitions were predominantly influenced by health or age, Contemporary challenges revolve around how the public perceives the royal family. Every move is carefully analyzed, and any relationship can potentially backfire. Power is not solely derived from wearing the crown, it also hinges on being able to earn trust, be it from advisors, staff, or the general public. As the world evolves with rapid media consumption and changing opinions, the heir apparent may need to take action before officially being granted authority. Throughout history, it has been seen before that when the successor assumes control without any issues, the monarchy is able to carry on as usual. Choices are still made, problems are dealt with, and the establishment endures. While the crown may still be worn by the current monarch, the actual authority tends to shift to the one who can effectively handle the current challenges. Once more, in the present monarchy, we see this same trend emerging. The successor is not just getting ready for what lies ahead, but also influencing it in a subtle manner. Power is no longer being passed down solely through formal rituals or titles, but through deeds, accountability, and the anticipation of followers.